So my name's Reese and I'm full-time living in my van. A few questions that I get a lot of the time. I get the same questions over and over again, so I'm just going to go in to talk about those. So most commonly the one question I get is, where do I park every night? And that's a valid question, because at the start, before I kind of got involved in this, I wasn't sure where I was going to park every night. And after a while you kind of find your spots, and as long as you aren't causing any problems for anybody, or you're not upsetting anybody, then you can kind of park anywhere you want. I mean, the beauty of this small van is that it basically doesn't look like a camper van. I mean, who'd be crazy enough to live in something this small? I've been living in it for 3 months, and I suppose the main driving force behind it is I'm trying to save money. And rent, when you're paying a quarter or half of your paycheck is going on rent, how are you supposed to save for a house, or how are you supposed to save to do anything? Why did I use such a small van? I had this van anyway, so this is a daily driver I had for 2 or 3 years before I did this, and I went away the odd time and I spent a few nights here and there in it, driving up and down the west coast. And I kind of just decided one day that I thought I could do it full time. So I stripped out the van and I redid it. I built a new bed, I built a new kind of storage unit and everything within the van. And I just kind of went from there and tried it. And after a month it got easier, after 2 months it got easier, and I'm well into my third, nearly fourth month now. I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it to save some money. And the sense of adventure that goes along with it too. I can throw my camera gear and into the van. Well, I keep it in here anyway, but I can just take off after work, or I can leave early on a Friday and just take off anywhere I like. I don't have to worry about accommodation. I can just park up anywhere and sleep. I have an electrical system in here, and it's like a 12-volt leisure battery, and I have a 300-watt power inverter as well that transfers 12 volts into 240 volts. And then on top of that I have a timer and an electric blanket plugged into that. I mean, one thing I would say to anybody hoping to do this is just to do it. The worst thing that can happen is you don't enjoy it and it's not your thing. I mean, another way you could do it is spend weekends for maybe 2 or 3 months and live the way that you feel that you would live in the van. And if you don't like it doing that, you won't like it doing it full time. So the next step then is to do it full time. For cooking, I have a little butane gas stove. The little canisters last me well over a week. They're about €2 each, so that's pretty much the only utility bill I have, is that gas. And obviously I have to pay for diesel as well, but I would have been paying for that anyway. My diesel powers, runs my engine, which runs my alternator, which charges my battery, so that's my electricity. And another piece of advice I would give somebody is pick the right van before you do it. I kind of had this van already, and it didn't make sense for me, because I only want to do this for maybe a year or two. It didn't make sense for me to go and buy something else, because it would have just kind of offset the money I was saving anyway to live in it, and I would have just been able to live in a nice house. But yeah, pick the right van, make sure it's cozy and warm, insulated. Spend the right time insulating it. That's something I did before I started living in it, and it was a huge benefit. Another thing as well, something that I think most people would feel uncomfortable about, is how other people think of you when you're doing this. But there's 2 things I can say about that. One, you shouldn't care about what other people think at all. It doesn't matter. They only think about you for 2 seconds when they're saying to you, "That's so weird." After that, they have forgotten about you. And number 2 is, you're doing this for you. So what is other people's opinion? I mean, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, the real beauty of this whole lifestyle is you can kind of up and go anywhere you want. And I'm down at the beach today, just chilling out. Said I'd shoot this vlog. And I didn't have to kind of pack anything up, or I didn't have to kind of think ahead. I just got in and left, and I might stay here tonight. I mean, I've got to be at work tomorrow, but if I leave early enough, it'll be fine. But yeah, just gotta go for it and see how it feels, really.